right now, athletics writer, I guess he got some inside information with the Bulls. I thought it was a joke when I seen it on Facebook in one of the Piston groups. I talked about this about a week or two ago about Zach LaVine, but apparently, like I reported a couple weeks ago, I talked about that his price might be reducing, and because obviously the injuries, and they saying, according to Darnell Mayberry, a writer from the Athletic, is saying that Zach LaVine has outgrown the Bulls, and now the Pistons are linked to Zach LaVine. And he said, I think more than a half dozen or more than a dozen teams may be interested because the Bulls may just be possibly giving them away. I mean, at this point, in this year's draft, a first round pick is nothing. It's just to the point, do you have a cap room, or is Chicago, or you have pieces that Chicago is willing to take back to make the cap even, depending on, if you're working in a, over the cap, or you're in a cap deficit, or how much cap room you got, you know what I'm saying? So, check out the Detroit Pistons Talk playlist, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. So now they're saying the Pistons might be one of those teams that may be interested in bringing in Zach LaVine. Obviously, before the trade deadline last year with Troy Weaver, they were interested in bringing in Zach LaVine. Then he chose to have a season-ending, I forget, ankle or foot surgery or whatever. Excuse me. So that that X'd that out. I think he would roughly owe for the next few years around anywhere from 40 to 50, 45 to 50 million-ish. I said in an original video. I didn't look at it again. So really, his annual dollar amount is a little bit up there. But the talent, kind of, says that he worth that, especially by today's standard, but he just ain't won nothing in Chicago. They had a lot of power. I mean, Vujovic, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, but they look like a different team when Lonzo was running the show, but then again, Lonzo ain't never healthy. So they look like a formidable team, because what Lonzo can do is he can get them guys the ball, and he sets the offense up, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, he's a really good defender. So, I mean, with him, DeRozan being good defenders, and over the years, they had some good talent come through Chicago. You start to think, maybe it's just the organizational curse of getting rid of Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson with Jerry Krause. And rest in power to Jerry West, by the way. Or it just may be the fact that, the organization just might not be, they may have to reevaluate some things like the Pistons. They had talent, Wendell Carter down there in Orlando doing pretty good. I mean, they have talent there. It's just that the talent just, with them, the talent ain't meshing well together. But Zach LaVine will be an interesting fit next to Cade Cunningham. Another guy that like to have the ball in his hand. He can shoot it. He athletic. But then again, you ask who's going to be that guy in the backcourt that's defensively going to take the challenge. And once again, that becomes an issue. And I think he's better off probably going to a Miami, going to a Philly, going to the Knicks. And they're going to be squabbling out there for the services of Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby. They're going to be squabbling for those guys. But then you're going to start to see, and Jimmy Butler, possibly if he moves, they're going to be trying to, really, vie for those guys. But if they can get Zach LaVine for a little bit of nothing and just send some expiring contracts over there, maybe some draft picks in the, in the draft or in drafts yet to come, you're going to see teams that's trying to get over that hump. Don't be surprised if you see Dallas try to do something, even with Kyrie. If they don't get over the hump, don't be surprised if you don't see a Sacramento or a Denver try to really, really push themselves. Don't be surprised if you don't see Minnesota say, you know what, we had him before, we know what the kid like. Anthony Edwards just need that extra oomph, that guy that can to score. Maybe they send Gobert over there or whatever. Maybe they look to make that, that jump. And there'll be other guys that, you can be able to trade for that as well, too. Or make it work. But I think you're going to start seeing teams like the Knicks. And don't forget Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, all they possibly could be moved. So I think you'll see teams like the Knicks, teams like the Bucks, teams like the Heat, teams like Denver Nuggets, possibly Minnesota Timberwolves, Dallas. Some of these teams is possibly just trying to get over that that little hump for real. So, in my humble opinion, to keep it real, for the Pistons, I just think like I said before, I just like the way that you just put Sasser and Cade in the backcourt and just figure it out later on. If you're going to, I just figure they're going to move Jaden Ivey. So you let that go on. If you can swing in Brandon Ingram, swing in Brandon Ingram. If you can't swing in nobody, don't worry about breaking the bank. The only thing you really worried about if you go into next year with this core with Monty Williams, if you go into next year with a coach, with the right coach, now I don't think anybody is really tripping on it at that point. You know, now we can kind of see them with more of a modern coach, whether Dave Adelman, Chris Quinn, James Borgo. He's visiting the Cavaliers. Somebody of a younger variety, if it's revisit Jerry Stackhouse or something like that, whoever it may be. I think a lot of us can accept that and see, you know, what another coach can do with this core. But we can't go in with the same core and the same head coach next year. Then it's just like, all right, man, you can stay on weak ass Valley Sports and ain't nobody gonna watch it. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that from that point of view. But you know, I just don't think Zach LaVine is the fit for what they want to do. Even if you said we got Brandon Ingram and Zach LaVine and Cade are just like three guys that like to have the ball in their hand. So, and nobody's really known as a defensive stopper on that end. So, I don't see that. I don't think Zach LaVine is the fit. And I love Zach LaVine as a player, one of my favorite players to watch. But I just think he is better off. Shit, maybe even more better off in New Orleans and them trying to get some help there. But I think he's better off on a team that's kind of on the uptick trying to win a championship. I love to see him in Philly. Love to see him in New York, Milwaukee, Denver. You know, somewhere like that. You know, but hey, just my humble opinion on it. Minnesota would be a good look for him. Him, Edwards, Conley, that'd be a good look. You know they tied Rudy Gobert anyway, so you can put Rudy ass over there and see what happened. But shit, maybe a case, maybe a case where shit, maybe I don't know what the Pistons would justify doing that, because you're not close to winning. This kid been on a lot of young and bad teams and teams that ain't won. So I don't understand what would be the difference between him coming here in Chicago, which y'all would be like really planning. But hey, I don't know, man, what they would possibly be thinking. But in my opinion, if I'm them, I don't see a guard in the draft I like, I'm going to roll with Sasser. I'm going to roll with Cade. If I can swing Ingram, and then let the chips may fall from there to there. If it's Bridges, if it's Tobias Harris, if it's somebody else, then we'll see. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video financially. Want to support the channel? Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo, CJ Good 313, PayPal link description. Hit the link tree, find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.